You're very welcome to the School of Art History and Cultural Policy. Our school is the largest of its kind on the island of Ireland, and we have a staff of 9 permanent academics whose expertise spans a broad range of art historical and cultural policy subjects. And we're really proud to offer two of the longest running postgraduate programs in the country in art history and in cultural policy. So our MA in Art History, Collections and Curating offers advanced study in seeing and thinking in depth about our visual world. We cover everything from the great artworks of history through to contemporary culture. And our MA in Culture Policy and Arts Management is the longest running program of its kind on the island, and it's managed and delivered across all art forms. We cover visual art, the performing arts, literary arts, circus, jazz, you name it, creative industries included. And in both of these programs, our extended classroom is not simply museums and galleries, but it's also the stage, it's city streets, it's the landscape. And we're very proud of all of our close ties to cultural organizations across Ireland and also internationally, with whom our students work very closely in terms of work placements and also intensive research. So this is a bit of an introduction to our program. We have a really diverse student body as well. We welcome students from all parts of the world, and we're really proud of the vibrant postgraduate community that we have here in the school. I'd now like to hand you over to my colleague, Dr. Conor Lucy, who runs the MA in Art History, Collections and Curating.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in to learn about the MA in Art History, Collections and Curating. My name is Conor Lucy, and I'm director of this program, which operates as a full-time one-year course or a two-year part-time course. This program provides advanced postgraduate academic training in the history of art with a special focus on collections and curating. It offers the opportunity to hone skills in the interpretation, critique, and analysis of works of art and architecture, developing the knowledge and capacity to pursue further careers in academia, research, writing, and in curatorship. As such, it is an excellent opportunity to consider and reflect upon the myriad opportunities available to art history graduates and to identify next steps, either academically or professionally. Our student profile is broad. Students come from a range of disciplinary backgrounds, including art history, architecture, classics, archaeology, global studies, and related fields. Students also come from around the world, from the UK and across the EU, but also from the USA, and increasingly further afield. And in recent years, we've enrolled students from China, Brazil, India, and Mexico. Some students have work experience before they enroll. For example, in our current year, 2 students are already working in the gallery museum sector and are gaining practical experience on the job while honing and refining their intellectual approach to what they do here at UCD. Others use the opportunity of our immersive student-centered learning to identify their next step and to refine their critical research and writing skills. So what can you expect? This is an advanced academic program. At all stages and in all modules, you'll be challenged by faculty and your fellow students to think deeply about complex ideas relating to the writing and curating of art in a variety of public and private settings and institutions. This is a structured program. Students undertake 2 modules that consider questions of methodology and practice. The first of these is called Approaches to Art History, and the second is called the Seminar in Curating and Collections. Together, these provide a foundation in advanced research skills and an introduction to curatorial practices and theories. They guide you in how to research effectively and how to think critically. A further 3 taught modules are drawn from the following representative selection: Museums and Modernity, Institutional and Private Collecting in the Netherlands in the Early Modern Period, Architectures of the Museum, and Collecting on the Grand Tour in 18th Century Europe. And these taught modules provide introductions to methods in research and curating and to advanced research topics in art history. There are further 2 components: a field trip to a major European city, which focuses on national institutions and collections, and in recent years we have routinely visited Berlin, and a thesis, which is really the most important academic output of the programme, and provides scope for research into other areas of study, including topics that might have a specific relevance to your individual academic interests. This may or may not relate to the talk component of the programme, and you're advised to become enabled learners, taking responsibility for the direction of your research under the supervision of a member of the academic staff. The academic year commences in early September. All coursework is completed by May, and the thesis is submitted in mid-August. Teaching takes place on Tuesdays and Thursdays here at UCD campus and at sites across the city, allowing for immersion in the city's renowned cultural institutions, including the National Gallery of Ireland, the National Museum of Ireland, the Irish Museum of Modern Art, and so on. And here we build on our extensive professional networks with directors, curators, and keepers of many of the nation's foremost collections. And this is a unique opportunity that we allow our students here in this programme. There are 8 full-time faculty members on the MA programme. Myself, Conor Lucy, director of the programme, Emily Mark Fitzgerald, who's head of school, Kathleen James Chakraborty, Linda Mulvin, John Lockman, Philip Cottrell, Roisin Kennedy, and Sean Leatherbury. Each of us has different academic specialisms, which you can learn more about by visiting the UCD School of Art History and Cultural Policy website. We are in fact the longest established and largest art history department in Ireland, offering a broader range of academic specialisms than any other university or college on the island. Although the MA in Art History Collections and Curating is a relatively new programme of the school, already we have had great success in placing individuals in discrete professional pathways. And I'd now like to hand you over to Grace O'Boyle, who is undertaking a 2-year research fellowship in the National Gallery of Ireland.
I did my BA in Trinity in art history and sociology, and I knew I was very interested in art history and I knew that I wanted to pursue a career, but I really didn't see a course in Ireland that I was drawn to. So I took a year out in between my graduating from Trinity, and I kind of traveled and I spent some time in New York and went to loads of museums, and that even further validated that I wanted to do art history. And I came across the course and 2 other girls actually who had done art history in Trinity had also applied for the course. It seemed kind of fitting. We all went in that trajectory. And I really liked that there was an emphasis on art history, but also your own practice working in a museum or as a curator or even as a collector. So I think for me, I was drawn to the practical element as well. So maintaining the art history research, but then also having a look at the industry and how you can get into it and how you can make a career in it. So that's what drew me to the course. I like the fact that we had kind of smaller classes. I definitely got to know everyone in the course. The facilities are brilliant. The library is amazing. And actually now in my line of work, I'm using the special collections that are in UCD quite a lot for research, and the folklore archive as well. So the facilities in UCD I find were amazing, and there's some really great special collections there. So yeah, I found the transition really good, definitely different. But I did find that UCD is really connected, really open. All the lectures are really accessible and really up for chatting. So it was great. So we met loads of people working in lots of kind of different areas. So we met a curator in Emma called Rachel Gilbourne, and she was amazing. We spoke with her. We spoke with the chair of the RHA. We spoke with Simon O'Connor, the director of Molly as well. We met loads of different people, and they all have different backgrounds, and it's really interesting hearing how they get into the industry. And they all come from very varied backgrounds, which is great. And so that experience is so practical, and it really kind of affirms that there is an industry there that wants people in it. And you just kind of have to maintain your interest and keep pushing towards the different areas. So it was a mix of educators, curators, those maybe working in a more commercial element, So it was a great mix of people that we met. One of the visits that we did actually was to the National Gallery of Ireland, and we went to the ESB CSIA, which is the Centre for the Study of Irish Art. I had clocked it was probably one of the most interesting visits that we'd went on, and I ended up using their research facilities throughout my time in the module. So it was so beneficial actually seeing people working in the industry, and you also got to see your resources and how to use them properly. And so that kind of cemented a train of thought that eventually helped me get the job that I have now.
Another success in a very different direction was Aoife Cosgrove, who, following graduation from our programme, was awarded a 4-year funded doctoral scholarship at Trinity College Dublin. More broadly, graduates of the school enjoy careers as academics, curators, educators, and administrators. Kate O'Donoghue, a recent graduate of the school in 2013, has been appointed Curator of International Fine Art at the famous Walker Gallery of Art in Liverpool. So just some examples of graduate success. I would invite you to visit the MA blog, where you will find student accounts of their research projects and fieldwork diaries from research trips to Berlin. Further information is available on our school website, and you may contact me directly, conor.lucy@ucd.ie, or our school administrator, elizabeth.varley@ucd.ie. We look forward to hearing from you, and thank you.
The MA in Cultural Policy and Arts Management is the longest running programme of its kind in Ireland and one of the most established in Europe. And since its inception, we've graduated nearly 1,000 students who now work all over the world.
The story of the last 30 years since Ireland got its first Minister for Culture in 1992 is increasing sophistication, scale, ambition and actually funding of the arts in Ireland. In fact, it's the best it's ever been in the history of the state. And of course, with all that money, with all that opportunity comes the need to have a cohort of people who are able to manage the arts properly. So I think it's really important that we have a best-in-class course like this in Ireland to support our national and international efforts.
Studying this course in Dublin has been really fulfilling because I go from class where I'm talking about arts and culture, and then I'm walking out in the streets in Dublin and experiencing it firsthand and interacting with people that are so friendly and welcoming and want you to understand their culture. It's been very rewarding.
I was an arts and culture journalist back in India. I was actually looking at courses to do. I wanted to study further, and that's when I came across this course. People here are very warm and approachable. I'm very happy that I made this decision to come here.
It's a really supportive learning environment. You meet lots of different people from such different backgrounds, from the faculty and the guest speakers as well. And it's just really apparent that everybody really wants you to do well.
I'm where I want to be, doing what I want to do, and it's because of UCD.
When you're running an institution like Project, which has many different stakeholders, from artists to funders to audience, you are using lots of different skills during a day, and I think the course really helped me prepare for that.
We meet with them individually and we talk with them about how they want to develop their skills, and we also find out what sort of organisation they want to get involved with.
Through the Arts Lives module, you actually got the opportunity to sit in the room with the directors, the leaders, the senior management who are actually leading the sector today. Being given access to genuine experience at that stage in my career and getting to learn from some of the best in the industry was invaluable.
At the end of the spring trimester, students go on an 8-week placement with an arts organisation. This is an opportunity for them to put into practice what they've learned on the programme and to start building their professional network.
Through that placement, I was introduced to Trevor White, the founder of the Little Museum, and it was as a direct result of my time on that placement that I actually am where I am today.
I'm really excited to start the work placement. I'm trying to decide right now between 3 different opportunities. One to work at a museum, a theatre festival, and a festival.
Having internships from this course has been really important to Emma. The skills base that the course offers a student is really vital, because in essence, in the arts, you have to multitask.
I did an internship in Dublin City Council Arts Office, and now I am working as a marketing assistant in Fisamble, the new play company.
Throughout the summer, students work on their thesis with the supervision from a faculty member. Students do a deep dive into a subject they've become interested in.
specifically with the thesis that led into my current employment opportunity with Colorado Ballet as the Education and Community Engagement Coordinator.
I completed my internship and then stayed on in Edinburgh. I wrote my thesis for the MA while I was in Edinburgh and stayed on for the festival itself to see how it rolled out. So it was a brilliant experience.
You arrive at a time when Dublin is at its best, showing you everything it has to offer in terms of cultural activity.
In Dublin in September and October, there are an exhausting but a very fulfilling 6 weeks of festivals. Dublin Fringe Festival for 2.5 weeks, a short break, and then Dublin Theatre Festival. It's a fantastic time to begin your stay in Dublin.
I was interested in making art happen. So for me, the joy of the course was being in a room with similar-minded people. I loved this course. I had a great time, and I would not be doing what I'm doing without this course.
Hello, thanks so much for being here today to hear about UCD's MA and graduate diploma programs in cultural policy and arts management. My name is Dr. Annette Clancy and I'm the director of both programs. The MA and graduate diplomas are full-time one-year courses and students of both courses take the same taught modules, but our MA students go on to write a thesis during the summer trimester. Our mission is to produce reflexive practitioners, and that is people who can manage people and resources effectively on a day-to-day basis. Are people who can stop and think about what they're doing and make necessary changes in the light of new information. And I think we've seen that very effectively in the last few years as arts and cultural managers have had to dramatically change the way in which they're working to reprogram and to stay connected to their audiences throughout this period of dramatic change. Our graduates are always thinking about and trying to affect the bigger picture. Our student profile is very broad. The age profile of our students ranges from about 22 to 60, and about a third to a half are international students. Our students are interested in the visual arts, in theatre, in film, in opera, architecture, and we ask all of our applicants to have some work experience. That can be through internships or even part-time jobs. We also have students on the programme who have extensive work experience, and they may have completed their working lives and perhaps are coming back to education as a way of entering the arts for the first time. For example, one of our students on a recent programme had retired from a professional services firm and had decided to use this MA as a way of starting a consultancy practice to help arts and cultural organisations professionalise their finances. What's the learning like on this programme? Well, you're going to be challenged by faculty and by your fellow students to think deeply about culture and society, to think about the role and the value of the arts. You're going to be asked to reflect on how you as an individual can develop your own management skills to be an effective leader or to be a team player in a cultural organisation. One of the things we emphasize quite a lot on this program is that there's no one way to be a cultural leader or a manager. So we're going to be inviting you to reflect on your personal skills and how you can develop them to be the best manager you can be. There are 3 full-time faculty members on the MA, my colleague, Dr. Victoria Durer, and Associate Professor Emily Mark Fitzgerald. Each of us brings something distinctive to the programme. We're all active researchers, and before we became academics, we were all experienced arts and culture managers. So we bring both our academic capacity and also our practical skills in the field. In addition to faculty, you'll have lectures from members of Ireland's arts and cultural community. And as we go through the programme, you'll meet cultural leaders. We build in those networking opportunities for you to meet as many of Ireland's professionals as possible. This is the longest programme of its kind in Ireland. It was established in 1986, and we've nearly 1,000 alumni working in various capacities all over the world. So who are our alumni? Orla McBride graduated in 1995, and until 2019, she was the director of the Arts Council of Ireland. The Arts Council is the national agency for funding, developing and promoting the arts in Ireland. Cian O'Brien, a graduate from 2004, is currently the director of Project Arts Centre in Dublin. This is a key cultural institution in the Irish arts community. Jenny Jennings graduated also in 2004, and she's co-director and co-founder of This Is Pop Baby in Dublin. This company has been a groundbreaking cultural institution since it was established. And Jeff Poulin, a graduate from 2013, was until recently Arts and Education Coordinator for Americans for the Arts in Washington, DC. And where do our graduates go and what do they do? Everything from becoming managers in theatres, museums, galleries, local authority arts officers to working for Google, Facebook, and like Jenny Jennings, starting their own companies. Graduates become event and project management coordinators. They work in corporate sponsorship, outreach and education, digital marketing, and social media. This degree is very flexible. It's internationally recognized, and we don't produce one-size-fits-all managers. We encourage you to reflect on and focus in on your individual skills, and we enable you to refine and enhance those skills, better positioning you for employability once you've graduated. There are two strands to the Masters. One strand is management and the second is cultural policy. I teach management and cultural policy is taught by my colleague, Dr. Victoria Durer. The management strand of the program consists of 4 modules: management, law, finance, and marketing and audience engagement. In the management module, we'll explore 3 strands: managing people, managing strategy, and managing risk. Key areas that every arts manager needs to understand in order to bring an arts project from idea to audience. In combination with law, finance, and marketing and audience engagement, these 4 modules will build on your management skill set. The cultural policy strand consists of 2 modules: comparative culture and policy in the first trimester and Irish cultural policy in the second. These modules will build on your understanding of how something called culture has come to be defined, regulated, and even neglected by states, and how cultural policies become globally mobile, but equally require deep understanding of local contexts and what the role of the cultural manager is within that policy space. And then there's what we call application, bringing it all together. You'll have a module on research methods, and this guides you through how to research effectively. In the second trimester, you'll have a group project, creating a business plan for a new arts or cultural venture. And graduates tell us that this module is probably one of the most useful they undertake on the MA. It's a skill set that they return to again and again. And you then go on an 8-week internship to an arts organization. MA students spend the period over the summer writing their thesis, and this is an opportunity to do a deep dive into a question or a project, something that you're particularly interested in. We encourage students to do research projects that are directly related to their areas of work or further study that's more relevant to their career goals. Throughout the entire year, there's a constant process of meeting people, networking, and connecting. And we also encourage you to go to as many shows and performances right across art forms and to visit galleries and museums throughout your time on the program. In summary, the MA and graduate diploma, they are 1-year full-time programs. There's a maximum of 30 students on the program. There are 2 strands, cultural policy and arts management. Our key focus is on critical and practical content. It's a multidisciplinary qualification, which is highly regarded amongst arts sector employees in Ireland and internationally. We have strong links with Ireland's creative and cultural sectors, evidenced in the fact that we invite those practitioners in to talk with you while you're on the program. And we have an 8-week internship during the second trimester. The program has been in existence since 1986, and we have an alumni of nearly 1,000 students. And finally, we have an internationally recognized faculty. Thank you so much for listening. I'd be delighted to answer any questions that you have in the exhibition hall right now. Both myself and Conor will be there.